What's up, y'all? This is Coach Mario with the Williams Racing Academy, and today I wanted to give you guys a short video talking about foam rolling. Many of us know about foam rolling, but maybe we are not incorporating it yet into our routine. I want to take time to let you guys know how beneficial foam rolling is for you and what a magnificent and easy and inexpensive recovery tool it can be. So here's a foam roller, an example. This is mine. It's got a pretty dense foam right here that doesn't have very much give. It also has these little spikes, and obviously you can tell that it is not flat. For those of you that are looking to incorporate foam rolling or you've never done it before, I'm going to recommend that you don't start off with something like this. You kind of graduate and progress to where you can use something like this, or maybe even something more extreme than this. Like I've seen people use a PVC pipe that obviously doesn't have any give to it whatsoever. What I would recommend is that you start off on the easy side of things. Go get yourself a foam roller that is completely flat, and go get one that's made out of some material that has a little bit more give. Here's the reason why. If we're not used to foam rolling, when you do it for the first time, it's probably going to be pretty painful. It's probably going to be an experience that maybe you won't enjoy very much. But now, that being said, let me give you the benefits of foam rolling so that you can kind of see through those first few times that you do it and hopefully continue to stick with the practice to where you can punch through to the other side and really actually have it begin to be an enjoyable experience for you. What does foam rolling do for us? Well, muscles need to recover, right? When they're taxed, they feel heavy, they're loaded down with things that shouldn't be in there, toxins, lactic acid and such. And so what foam rolling does is it's going to get all that stuff, it's going to flush all that stuff out. It's going to allow the blood, those toxins, to get to the places where it needs to be, namely the heart, to be able to be washed out and cleaned up, and then have fresh blood and clean muscles to work with for the next day. So an extremely great recovery tool. So let's get into it. Foam rolling. How do we do it? I'm going to give you an example of my routine and what I do and when I do it. So I do this before I go to bed. So when I put the kids down, get upstairs, right before I go to bed, I foam roll. It doesn't take me a lot of time, but what a great return on the investment it is. Those of you that take on foam rolling, you guys will thank us later. It's just such a good thing as you do I've got stairs in my house, as I do the stair test, walking down the stairs after a hard ride, a long ride, a day where legs should feel tired. After you foam roll, you can just feel the difference pretty much immediately. So without further ado, let's get into it. For the sake of the video, I'm actually only going to do one pass. So I typically will do 2 passes of each of these areas that I go through, but I'm only going to do it once just so you guys get the idea of what the routine is. And I'm also going to stop at certain places to kind of highlight some areas where foam rolling is a great recovery tool, but we've got to be careful because we can do it too hard, or we can get into areas that we shouldn't be in, and it can actually cause an adverse effect. Okay, so I'm going to stop in some of those areas, and I'm going to let you guys know just so you're aware. Here's the deal. The best test for it is going to be when you ride the next day, when you work out the next day. Are you feeling pain or extreme discomfort in some of the areas that I'm talking about? If you are, then that means you need to back off of those areas in terms of how hard you go into those areas, or just try and steer clear of those areas altogether. All right, so we start off with the calves, and here's what I do. I kind of break everything up into 3s. So I've got the first pass that I'll make will be on the outside of the calf, getting the outside of that, and then I go straight down the middle, come back up, and then I go to the inside of the calf, and I come back up. And again, like I said, I would go back in the other direction and make 2 passes. Same thing for the other leg, obviously. Outside, down the middle, and then the inside. Okay, now let me stop and say a couple of things. If you want to, you can do some cross fiber. So it's okay to, as you get more advanced, kind of turning over and getting cross fiber. So as you go up and down, that's okay to do. It actually feels really good once you get into the habit of foam rolling and doing that. But I do want to highlight a problem area. So I'm going to go ahead and stand up for this so you can see it. Problem area when doing the calves that we want to kind of be careful and be aware of is when you're coming up the middle, you've got these little tendons and ligaments right here that are connecting to the back of the knee. We want to be careful with how close we get to the back of that knee right there. And you kind of want to stop short of that. And be careful with that, because you will feel those bad boys on your next ride. And if you do, you know that you kind of got a little bit too close. It's okay. It's not going to be an injury as long as you can kind of be aware of that and just kind of stop and put the brakes on that and not continue to do that. So area to be aware of there with the calves. All right, now moving on to the leg, the upper leg. So you set this up, okay, just above the knee on the outside of the leg there. Roll that out. Stop at the hip. I like to stop at the hip once I get to the top of the stroke here. I like to kind of turn, again, cross fiber that. Then come on back down. Then turn. So notice how I'm turning my body. Looking forward now, getting the front part of my leg. Coming up. And then lastly, now I'm turning away from you guys to be able to get the quad here. So I roll that out. And again, I'm going to do the double pass here just because it's so ingrained in my routine, but this is my double pass. I come back through, so I just did the middle, and then I do the outside, and then I turn all the way over, and now I am hamstring. Roll that out. All right, now I want to talk about problem areas here. Okay, first problem area, when you're doing the outside, you've got your IT band here, okay? You want to be careful with how deep you get into that. You want to be careful with how much you press into that, okay? Don't get too close to the knee. We don't want to really play around a whole bunch up here, okay? So be careful with where you kind of get that done in, all right? Next thing, when you're going to the middle part, as you're foam rolling up the leg right here, you want to be careful. Don't get too close to this kneecap. Okay, don't be pinching off on that. Get up to a certain point, then bring it back down. Lastly, I want to talk about when you're getting into the hamstring, and when you're doing that, you're going to foam roll a little bit on the inside in here in your adductors. Be careful with that area as well, as like these three areas, this one, top of the leg, IT band, back of the calf, they will get inflamed pretty quickly with just foam rolling, and just they don't like being pressed on too much. And so be careful, be gentle with those. All right, I'm going to finish up doing this last leg just quickly, walking you through. So set it up just above the knee, set the foam roller up, roll it out, come all the way down, hip, get the hip, turn it a little bit if you want. Come on back up, just above the knee, turn now, so that now you're foam rolling the front part of the leg. Okay, getting that done. All the way down. And then turning out, getting the quad. And then, like I said, just kind of coming back around. And then finishing up out here. We're being careful of those areas, the IT band. We're being careful of that front part right above the kneecap. And then as we do our hamstrings, we're being careful with the adductors and how much we get into those. And there you have it. Pretty quick routine. Doesn't take a whole lot of time. Great return on investment though. Something that you should be putting into your recovery routine. This is akin to eating something after you train and, putting your legs up and doing all those great things. Foam rolling, something that we should be doing. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this content. Listen, if you're looking to get into foam rolling and you've got some questions and you've got some things that you want to bounce off of us, we would love to help you guys out. So reach out to us on the Facebook page, Williams Racing Academy, or on our Instagram account, Williams Racing Academy as well. We would love to answer some of your questions and connect with you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Until next time.